Well, we're going to take you back now to that Democratic Alliance briefing the media ahead of the budget vote debate. Let's cross to that now.
With the police investigations that have now been confirmed by the South African Police Service of her involvement in the Vitrovian scandal, where 700,000 rand was taken from Eskom in an irregular, illegal way from the company that she was involved in, that this cannot be a minister who can preside over a very important department like that of the human settlements. And it is because of this that we find it extremely difficult as the DA to support this particular budget vote. And it really means that we have to reconsider as a country how we really deal with ministers who have been corrupt and have shown themselves to be corrupt, and who have shown that a 33 billion rand budget is not a budget that can be placed in their hands. And it is a rude awakening now that President Ramaphosa needs to make a decision that we cannot allow a minister who's been accused of corruption to continue to serve on his cabinet, but also continue to serve on a very critical department like housing, which is a very important department for those who really require housing in our country. This is a Section 26 protected right in our Constitution. The access to housing, something that is very important, that is covered in our Constitution and in our law, and we will make sure that we do our best to ensure that we represent South Africans. We don't have a problem with this budget. We have a problem with the minister who is going to be in charge of ensuring that this money gets to South Africans. We just don't trust them.
You just said now that you have a problem with the minister, not necessarily with the budget. The implication of such a decision or such a move, however, wouldn't that be dire on the very people that you claim to represent, or that you want to ensure that there's accountability for the public that you yourself say are representing, but on the other hand, your actions here today could scupper all of that?
The thing about corruption is that it is pervasive, and the fact that we have corruption in our country, it's because it hits the most vulnerable South Africans. So to have someone who's been accused of corruption, it goes hand in hand with depriving the most vulnerable South Africans in our country of the services that they require. We simply, as the DA, cannot stand by and allow a minister who's been accused of these allegations, who's currently being investigated by the South African Police Service for the scandal that she's embroiled in, to now look after this particular budget that relates to housing. I mean, we have South Africans in the Eastern Cape who've been flooded, who now have to wait 3 months until they are homed and housed because the department itself has failed to deliver emergency housing through TRUs. And so this can't be the very same minister that we trust now to then deliver these important services to South Africans. And so we are saying that we don't have a problem with the budget, and we want this particular budget to work for South Africans, but we are saying we cannot accept a minister who has been linked to corruption cases, who's been linked to corruption scandals, to continue to oversee this very important department. And so the president must do what's right for South Africans, which is to remove the minister and put a minister who is clear of corruption, who is clear of any scandal, who can then make sure that they deliver to South Africans as it pertains to housing.
Minister Simelane was removed from justice last year when the VBS scandal broke. She was transferred to human settlements, and I want to believe that she has appeared before the committee several times, and as the member of the DA in that committee, you have been engaging with her on human settlement issues. The question would be, why all of a sudden, when you've been engaging with her for such a long time since she was moved to human settlement?
Well, I wrote to the minister on the 8th of April, 2025 of this year, where I raised with her the concerns that I continue to see within the department. First of all, the National Home Builders NHBRC is without a CEO. The CEO has been suspended. We have the National Home Finance Corporation, where the CEO is currently facing a scandal of financial mismanagement of finances, right? We also have the Community Services Ombud Schemes, which is known as CSOS, that is responsible for community schemes in our country, where the current chief ombuds has resigned because of corruption. We also have the Housing Development Agency, which is currently facing an SIU investigation across the country. So all these entities reporting to the minister have completely collapsed. And this is the points that I'll be raising in this particular debate, to say that the entities that are charged with delivering housing to South Africans, that are charged with protecting homeowners in our country, that are charged with building quality housing for our country and for the people in it, have completely collapsed at a senior level. And so that responsibility falls on the minister. I've written to her. She has failed to act on the crumbling entities in her department. And so we are not merely saying that these are the only challenges that we are seeing in human settlements, but there are much more. And the fact that she's involved in these various scandals that speak to VBS, that speak to the Vitrovian scandal, it means that we cannot trust her further to continue to work in such an important portfolio that deals with housing, that deals with the dignity of South Africans.
Sir, Kevin, from you.
Well, we will be taking you to that human settlements budget vote in just a bit to see how they're reacting to that DA announcement that the party will debate against the budget vote.